How much does it cost to get started with Airbnb arbitrage in 2024? I've been asked this question over 100 times, whether it's in my face in person, on Instagram, or even in my YouTube comments. So I decided finally, once and for all, to tell you guys exactly how much it costs to get your very first Airbnb property in 2024. And you'll see by the end of this video, because we're doing arbitrage, it doesn't really cost that much at all. You're going to have two different types of costs, your hard costs and your soft costs. Your soft costs are everything not included in the actual build out of furniture of your actual Airbnb. The first soft cost is going to be your business registration, getting your LLC set up, getting everything set up for your organization, for your entity. That way you can start signing leases under your business. By using LegalZoom.com, you can have all that set up for no more than $800 to $1,000. That includes getting your LLC set up, your EIN number, and having your trade lines created with DNB and your Experian business credit profile set up. The next soft cost you're going to have is your software subscriptions. Now, these different softwares used in our industry all charge you on a per listing basis, but as you scale with volume, that cost decreases per listing. For example, a lot of people who use Guesty pay almost $50 per apartment. I pay nowhere close to that. I pay anywhere from $15 to $20 because of the amount of volume that I have. Same with HostAway. A lot of people pay $30 to $40 for a listing, but when you have 400, 500 units like I do, you're going to end up paying almost $15 to $20 a listing. That goes the same with Price Labs, AutoHost, Enzo Connect. Every single software that we use in this business does get cheaper as you start growing your business and start increasing the number of listings that you use. On average, for someone who has less than 10 listings, you'll be spending around $60 to $70 per month per listing just for the entire automation software suite for all the different things that I use to automate my entire business. Now, finally comes down to paying the rent and furnishing of the Airbnb. I always like to negotiate at least 1 to 2 months free in rent concessions. That way I have some time to build out my furniture in the apartment or the house before I start paying my rent. So let's assume your average rent is $1,500. I always negotiate the security deposit to be as low as possible, and I never pay a last month's rent. So you're going to end up paying your first month's rent, which is $1,500, plus security deposit. Let's say it's $500, which is pretty standard. So now you're all in for $2,000 just to get your foot in the door, not including any concessions, which could be 1 month, 2 months, or even 3 months free up front. Now it's time to spend money to furnish the actual property with furniture. Assuming you don't hire an interior designer, because let's face it, a lot of you should, but if you want to save money, you could do it yourself, like I've been doing when I first started, or just have your spouse or your wife do it. After you furnish that property, you're going to be spending at least, at the very minimum, anywhere from $5,000 to $6,000 for a 1-bedroom apartment, $6,000 to $7,500, almost $8,000 for a 2-bedroom apartment, and then almost $10,000 to $12,000 for a 3-bedroom. Of course, the number does go higher if you have houses, if you have backyards, pools, patios. A lot of those things start increasing. That includes your labor, your photography, your setup, your staging. That's the all-in final blended cost to get that 1-bedroom set up for $5,000. So if you were to sign a lease for one 1-bedroom apartment at a rent being $1,500, your total all-in cost to get your foot in the door is going to be $7,000. $1,500 for first month's rent, $500 for security deposit, and $5,000 for your furniture, your setup, your staging, and photography. That's $7,000 all in up front. And remember, if you had concessions, you would delay that $1,500 2-3 months down the road. That means your all-in cost would be only $500. On average, I like to have my units to make at least $1,000 to $1,500 in pure net profit per month. Let's assume you have no rent to pay for the next 2 months because you have a 2-month concession. That means you'll make on average $3,000 to $3,500 per month just in those first 2 months and almost profit because you have no rent, you barely have any expenses to pay. That means you get all your money back within 6 to 8 weeks, and then you'll have no cash in the deal whatsoever, and you'll have an Airbnb arbitrage property cash flowing in net profit $1,000 to $1,500 per month. So spending $7,000 and getting all your cash back within 2 months and then making $1,500 in net profit a month indefinitely is a really good deal. Now, let's say I wanted to buy a traditional long-term rental and had to make $1,500 in net profit. Here's what the numbers would look like. I'd have to shell out at least $160,000 in cash down to buy a property for $800,000 at 20% down. Right now, today's interest rates are at 7.5% as of April of 2024. So just your monthly payment, your mortgage, your interest, your principal alone won't even cover the rent that you're going to be making. And on top of that, you have your closing costs. You might have PMI, you might have property tax, so you have to have homeowners insurance, you might have to pay HOA fees. There's so many costs involved. You're almost going to be $200,000 in the hole to make $1,500 in net profit versus you're spending $7,000 up front, making the exact exact same net profit. Now, of course, you're not building any equity. At the same time, you're not spending $200,000. You're only spending $7,000. That way you can use more of your money to get more arbitrage properties to build your cash flow from $1,500 a month with 10, 20, 30, 40 units to make $15,000 a month, $150,000 a month, or like me, who makes $1 million a month. That's why if your goal is to build serious cash flow and actually get rich while you're in your 20s and not getting rich when you're 60 and the house is finally paid off, Airbnb arbitrage is the only way where you build serious cash flow very quickly, very fast, with minimal costs up front. So all in all, you can get started with Airbnb arbitrage with as little as $5,000. And as you can see, you can make back your initial investment within 4 to 6 weeks if you negotiate concessions and do everything correctly. However, given it being your first time, you're gonna run into a lot of problems and a lot of roadblocks along your journey. This means it might take you a little bit longer to get started and start on your own, or you might even lose some money in the process of figuring it all out. And if anyone would know, I would, because I've made so many mistakes along the way, lost hundreds of thousands of dollars because of my mistakes, but it's allowed me to scale my business to 500 Airbnb arbitrage units, making over $1.5 million every single month. So if you want to do Airbnb arbitrage the right way, you need help scaling your business to 7 figures and above, then I have an offer just for you. It's my flagship mentorship program where I coach people one-on-one directly, you and I, to help you get your business off the floor and help you scale to 7 figures and above. I'll show you exactly how to get your first unit within the little as 2 to 3 weeks. I'll show you exactly how to then scale the business to 50 units and plus. And most importantly, I'll show you exactly how to remove yourself from the day-to-day operations and have a fully automated passive business that prints money while you sit on the sidelines. Because remember, the whole goal of this business is to be an owner and not an operator. I will literally work with you one-on-one directly until you get your very first unit. And if you don't, I'll keep working with you indefinitely until you do. All this so you can finally achieve the passive income that you've been dreaming of. If that sounds like something you're interested in, click the link at the bottom of the description to book a call with me or my team. As always, make sure you guys subscribe for more Airbnb arbitrage content, and I'll see you in the next video.